Welcome back to HPL, the PvP Live Studios here in Frisco, Texas. Dog just took a 2-1 lead here over Zalae, so he is on match point. Zalae needs 2 straight.
Yeah, I've been really focusing on handlock in this matchup as well. Again, in the HPL format, these guys can play whatever they want at any time, and in between games, they have time to change their decks. And it looks to me like Dog is sticking with handlock in this one. Is he going to keep handlock again? Yeah. We're going to find out because Game 4, Dog versus Zalae, is getting underway right now.
I got to believe we're going to see it again.
I mean, that's what I would believe too. Wow!
Oh wow! He's gonna switch it to. He's gonna use the same class.
2 copies of Big Game Hunter in Zalae's hand. This could be a disaster for Zalae.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if he mulligans, how he mulligans with these Big Game Hunters because they're so good against handlock. And Dog has queued up Warlock again, but switch. It just seems like Dog is in Zalae's head in this match.
Well, you have to, like, if you're playing against handlock 3 times in a row, you have to believe 2 Big Game Hunters are gonna be what you want to keep.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this from Purple as well earlier in the season. We saw something with, he played a Druid deck with 2 Big Game Hunters in every game because he expected that out of his opponent. You know, expected these huge giants, these Warlock decks where the Big Game Hunter is just such a huge beating every time someone plays something like a giant.
This could be disastrous.
Dog might only have 1 target for BGH in his whole deck.
There's a major amount of tension just in the mulligan phase of this. This game could actually be lost in the mulligan. Keeps on to 1 Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, I didn't think he would keep both.
But he also pitched away his Wrath. He's got Wild Growth, he's got Big Game Hunter, and he's got Loatheb and Druid the Claw. This game, despite the fact that he has a Big Game Hunter in his hand, is very recoverable, but this is, like, when he sees this turn 1 Flame Imp, this is the last thing he wants to see.
Yeah, I want to watch Zalae's reaction. He usually doesn't give anything away. He's got quite the poker face, but when he sees this Flame Imp, I want to see if there's any kind of reaction from him there. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of grid. That is very telling out of Zalae. Yeah. If you've ever watched him play, he very much keeps his emotions to himself. Very tight-lipped player, you know, very focused on the game. Seeing that kind of reaction for him, he's like, yeah, he kind of got me a little bit, Dog. Well played.
Yeah, he got him. He got him more than a little bit, I would say, in this position. Imp Gang Boss looks like what Dog wants to do, but having second guesses at this point.
Yeah, getting Imp Gang Boss sets up some pretty sweet turns next turn with like Knife Juggler, Voidwalker attack, make a minion, you know, have some crazy things go on with your knives, and he's just trying to get as an aggressive as a board state as he can here going forward because he knows he needs to do a lot of damage early and try to finish this game off. He can't let Zalae have a lot of time to develop.
Yeah, Pilot Shredder going to be added to this board now, and Dog with plenty of good turns in front of him. I imagine this is going to start with Knife Juggler. I'm sorry, with the Flame Imp running.
Yeah, Knife Juggler after this because he's hoping to pick off this Steam Weedle.
Gonna see where this Juggle goes first. Would love for it to go to the Steam Weedle Sniper. It does as well. And now already a massive board state for Dog moving forward.
Zalae could use a swipe really bad.
I don't even know if Swipe would really clear this board position up. I think he's just going to have to hope.
I mean, like he needs a Wrath, a Swipe. He needs something to interact with Dog's board.
He needs a lot of things to really be going his way if he's going to win this game.
He needs this BGH to be anything else in his hand.
Yeah, he needs to have not kept BGH. Love that he's going for Loatheb here first. Wants to clear some of this board position out.
You also don't want something like Implosion happening on whatever minion you play.
Yep, I mean, that would be the nightmare turn.
That is the literal game over if he has something. If he just goes like Druid of the Claw, taunt up, and he's just like Implosion for 3 or 4, the game probably ends on the spot almost.
Yeah, pretty much at that point. And that would be the turn I think where Swipe would be super valuable is following that up. But he doesn't have a Swipe in his hand, so it doesn't have the freedom of doing so. So Loatheb going to be the play from him, and now Dog, lots of evaluating for him to do because there is many, many possibilities on a board like this.
Yeah, it's all about what he wants to do here. Does he want to use a Defender of Argus to kind of keep his Knife Juggler, you know, from being attacked over the next couple turns and push through more damage that way? Or does he really get aggressive and start doing Haunted Creeper shenanigans?
Yeah, this is going to be
This is what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, the Defender of Argus to keep your Knife Juggler from ever being in a situation of disaster.
Right, he's got a really good, if he attacks with his Imp Gang Boss here, he's got a really good juggle. But yeah, I was going to say, he's just going to push for as much damage as possible.
Love pushing for damage here instead. I mean, Druid has a very finite amount of time in front of it, and it's going to have to be the one defensive. I mean, he has to attack your minions at this point. Let him do the trading in this spot. Don't do the trading for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, he's going to be able to play a Druid of Claw with Taunt here this turn. But again, Dog has some insanely good top decks. Some like Power Overwhelming or Implosion could just, you know, be
Doomguard even.
Back-breaking.
Pretty much every draw left in Dog's deck is good at this point because Zalae doesn't have a way to keep this board pressure in check. So just being able to continuously add to that and punish your opponent for having not the greatest start in the world, that's what this deck does best. It's meant to punish people for not having the best draws.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see Druid of the Claw in successive turns. You're going to see Druid of the Claw, then Druid of the Claw, Hero Power next turn. I think it's one of the only ways Zalae can remotely have a chance to get into this game because Dog has just come out swinging.
Yeah, so plenty of good draws.
The Doomguard
Is certainly one of them. You know, I have to believe Doomguard is hitting the board this turn.
Yeah.
What better of a draw could you ask for? I guess power overwhelming, but
yeah, if you get the Doomguard and you get your 33% here of the knife hitting the Druid of the Claw, it's just absolutely perfect for
even
you.
if you don't land it, I mean, you still have the Void. You just sacrifice your Void Call in that position. Obviously, you'd love to have the extra minion on board, but I think either way that this juggle rolls out, he's perfectly fine with it. The discards are not relevant. It lands at 33%.
You can use the Defender Arc to pick off this Lotheb and really push through a ton of damage here. Yeah, and you can see Zalae kind of have this little frown on his face, like.
Yeah, but sitting at 10. Oh, Wrath actually
that was a
very important pickup. Yeah. So at this point now, I mean, maybe a little bit of recovery available for him. Druid of the Claw is going to come down and taunt and try to stifle as much damage as possible, and the Wrath going to be able to take out this Doomguard. So
yeah, just perfect timing to draw Wrath here. He needed it that turn.
If Dog, draws kind of dead over these next few draws, maybe something's going to happen, but Implosion is far from dead at this point. That's going to be a massive amount of pressure.
Yeah, it's only
even
for
if
two
it's
here,
even if it's just for 2. I mean, really kind of illustrating the importance of Knife Juggler here. This damage going upstairs, he's still totally fine with it. Finally gets the right juggle onto this Druid of the Claw.
He'll be able to get in 5 more damage here after the same Imking boss attacks here, putting
Zalae
down to 3. Zalae needs a swipe right now.
Yeah, I don't see any other way he can live through this game unless he draws Swipe. And even Swipe probably isn't going to be
Swipe
enough.
still wouldn't even be good enough.
And without that draw, Zalae is going to fall 3 games to 1 here to Dog, just not able to get things rolling, and even kept a big game hunter in his hand. That was one less card that he had to effectively operate with in this matchup. And Dog swapping over to that aggressive strategy punishes Zalae for queuing up a strategy that was very clearly meant to fight against what Dog had been queuing up all along, Handlock.
Yeah, just great queuing from Dog here this whole time. Just kind of like, it was the old bait and switch. You know, he put 3 handlocks in a row, and then he was like, gotcha on the last one. You can see it from Zalae there. Gave him, like, the little bit of a grin from him there. And as I said, Zalae usually doesn't have any kind of emotional anything with a game, any kind of reactions or anything like that. And that little bit from him, you could tell he kind of was like, yeah, you kind of got me a little bit there. Just great queuing up from Dog. And great draws as well. Zalae's draw didn't really pan out that well that game.
Yeah, Dog being the second player now to come up with a 5-match winning streak. Jab was the first one to do it, but that was because he had more matches than Dog. Dog is 5-0 in HPL right now.
Easy game.
Who on earth is going to stop him? Because a third of the way through the season, he's almost locked up a spot in the playoff at this point.
Yeah, that is going to be the biggest story so far here in HPL, especially going forward. Who is going to stop Dog? Who is he going to be to stop this guy?
I don't know, because he's been queuing up great and exercising a very full range. He's not only has he been difficult to target, but he's been the one in your head so far. Everything going beautifully for him.
He's had matches where he's queued up 3 and 4 different decks, and this one, it seemed like he was going to queue up the same deck. He stayed within the same class the whole time, just completely switched up his deck there at the end, and kind of got that little, little curveball there at the end that got him the win.